Fighting games can be difficult. Whether you're a new player or a veteran, sometimes you'll lose a match because there's so many nuances in games like Tekken or in platform fighters such as MultiVersus. However, never fear, poppin' is here. So let's start off with the first tip. The first tip is pick a character and make it your main. Now I know it's cliche, you hear it all the time, pick a character, pick a main, pick a character, pick a main, but there's a great reason on why you're always told this. Think about this, if you were to play basketball, you're not gonna play all the positions at once and expect to go pro. You're gonna play one, get really good at it, and hope you're scouted. That's how MultiVersus works. Without the scouting and without going pro and well, you need to find a main, because once you find a main and a character that you really like, you can move on to part 2. I made this 2 parts because I felt like picking a main was a little bit too cliche. The second part is understand how the character wants to play. As an example, Black Adam wants to play by spacing. The better at spacing the player is, the more effective Black Adam is. The main reason for this is because a lot of his abilities kind of hit at different angles and different spots, so the player needs to be aware about where they're casting it. If you're a Wonder Woman main, you want to run at your opponent and you want to smack them with your sword and your shield over and over and trap them and chase them forever and ever and ever, and they can't do anything but fall and get knocked off the stage, and because she's super heavy, she never flies away. No, that's not personal experience. That's what I heard from another Wonder Woman main, top 100. If you're playing Shaggy, make sure you have that kick down pack. Make sure you go Super Saiyan if you really want to get extra power in your shot. If you main the banana guard, make sure you lift some weights, and then I mean, you kind of understand the idea. All jokes aside, learn your character, learn what they do, learn what they like to do, and you'll be well on your way to already winning more matches. Great, so now you understand how to play your character, you understand what they like to do. Let's move on to number 2. So moving on to tip number 2, this is one of the most important tips no matter which platform fighter you're playing. You're gonna want to understand which moves, preferably the easiest moves, you need to pull off in order to hit someone into the blast zone. And you want to learn how to do that consistently and easily. So let's continue to use Black Adam. I know as Black Adam, if I jump and do my down special, I'll fire off 2 sparks. If one of them hits, all I need to do is do a side aerial, and it's gonna do a double uppercut. That second uppercut will launch someone off the stage. Now, if you want to find an easy way to learn your KO moves, what you want to do is go to the training mode, and you want to set the handicap on the bot to 95. Usually one move is going to knock them out, or at least it gets them very close to the blast zone. Unless you're playing Arya. If you're playing Arya, good luck. You're going to have to do like 22 backflips to get a KO no matter what. In training mode, yes, it's very simple to spike someone into the blast zone, but try to pull that off with Arya in an actual match. They're going to be sitting at like 300 HP because you cannot land anything to get them out of the map unless you do 12 cartwheels, a backflip, and a somersault. The third tip is nice and chill. It's nice and simple. Just learn a basic reaction combo. Now, yes, each character either has a side combo or a dash combo. That's not what I'm talking about. Create something special, get a little spicy with it. If you know that they're gonna miss an attack, well, maybe throw something out, it knocks them up, hit them about 2-3 times. That's a combo. It doesn't need to be long, and it doesn't need to be really powerful. As long as you know every time you're put in a scenario where you see XYZ, you know to do 1, 2, 3. Now, yes, there's gonna be more combos for different situations, but I highly recommend just learning something very simple and very easy so you can get used to punishing someone when they do something and they mess up. Tip number 4, directional influence. Now, if you don't know what directional influence is, this is something for all platform fighters. It's a way to control yourself when you get launched. Now, because I don't get a lot of views on these videos, because someone made an excellent guide explaining directional influence, I'll link it down in the description below. You'll be able to learn it from them, and they'll go over all the intricacies you want to know. However, mostly all platform fighters use the same type of consistency. Platform fighters is a genre as a whole, therefore they kind of share a lot of properties. But let me give you the short and sweet version. Basically, if you hold the direction towards the place you're being launched from, you will lower the speed of which you are being launched. If you're being launched upward, it's best to aim yourself towards the corner of the left or right screen so you can also survive that way. The goal of this is to point yourself away from the blast zone. Moving on to tip number 5, and I feel like this is very underrated. I don't see many people talking about this, especially when it comes to MultiVersus. You can use attacks to make your way back to the stage. Now, there are some attacks like Shaggy's kick that will literally dash you across. However, most characters, if not almost all characters, have a way to scoot across when they're using attacks, or float and hover in the air if they are using their attacks. Now, you might be thinking, attacks make you vulnerable, therefore why would you continuously do them? Well, being dead makes you more vulnerable. MultiVersus is very lenient on how you play. I consider MultiVersus as like League of Legends to Dota. League of Legends is an easier version of Dota, and I think MultiVersus is an easier version of Smash Brothers. It does not mean they're the same game, it just means 2 different developers had 2 different ideas. This game is very lenient, and it's a great way to learn how to play platform fighters, and so when you're playing, you don't have to be so anal about how you're doing certain things. This is why using some attacks dash you across the screen. This is why using some of the attacks float you across the screen. Also, there are some characters that glide, such as Bugs Bunny. If you press jump and you hold it, Bugs Bunny will glide. Check your character and see if your character can glide just like Bugs Bunny. Now I have a bonus tip for you because you made it to the end of the video. I'm proud of you. This bonus tip is MultiVersus is not about speed. It is not about the crazy movement options that you have. Some may feel the game is slow, which it is slowed down compared to the other version of the game. However, there are still ways to be fast. That being said, this is not one of those games that require a ton of movement to best your opponent. You really want to focus more on how you play the fight rather than how you move around the map. You don't need to dodge spam, you don't need to dash spam. It's very methodical. Smash Brothers is way more technical than MultiVersus, so what you see in that game might look crazy, but in MultiVersus is actually much slower pace. And it's not really the developers just saying let's slow down our game. I believe the reason why they slowed down the game is because one frame dodges make characters go wonky. If you think about Smash Brothers, there is no such thing as a one frame dodge or a one frame shield. These things take a little bit to come out. However, in MultiVersus, when you press dodge, it happens instantly. So if they didn't have it slowed down, their rollback netcode would probably have all these malfunctions because it's not used to that one frame dodge. But I digress. This is not the video for that conversation. But if you take anything, and I mean anything from this video, the main thing you want to take away is liking the video. Not only does it take you half a second to do it, but it also helps me out as a content creator. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more content regarding MultiVersus. Until next time, you know what I always say. Thank you guys for doing what? Popping often. We'll often.